So I did want to highlight a few veterans. I've got five veterans so far that I think have already shown us just in 2 games this year that they have elevated their games to the next tier, the next level of college football player. But first, I want to remind you all to please like tonight's show. And if you are not subscribed to Buckeye Huddle, I think we've hit our goal of 30,000. I think we hit our 30,000 subscriber goal. We might be just about 100 short. So if you're not subscribed, please pop in and subscribe to the show. That would be awesome. And I'll hop in and talk to you guys for a second before we move on to the next segment. Terry agrees that Lincoln Keenholz looked really, really good too. And that is absolutely awesome to see. Woody thinks that Sega is balling out in Cal, and he sure is. He's looking really good. Brandingo, your predictions have been spot on this season, Chuck. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. When it comes to certain things, I've got my niche. Everybody's got their niche. Emily, Pettyjohn in the double leg, putting the defender in the backfield was epic. What a picture-perfect, beautiful tackle. Separated him from the ball. The dude is just an absolute monster. You know, the fact that he got up to 235 already and is still moving at that speed, pretty wild. He came in at about 220 and boom, 235. And the same thing, guys, with TJ Alford. They came in the same weight, about 220. They're both in the 230s now. And I think TJ kind of got overshadowed, but TJ playing at end, playing all over the place, and he was fantastic as well. So really awesome to see both of those two who, kind of came in as that 1 and 2 guy together and just totally balled out in game number 1 as freshmen. But let's move on. So 5 veteran players who have really stepped up their play in week 1 and week 2. And I think really risen up the draft stock kind of board here. Number 1 has got to be Carnell Tate. These aren't in any particular order. He's just the one that popped into my head first. What we've seen out of Carnell Tate obviously is not surprising. We know he can make those catches and put up those touchdowns. We know that he's always been super polished, super smooth, a great route runner. But are you kidding here, man? Like, I know a lot of us expected a huge season from Carnell by virtue of him being a really good wide receiver and lining up opposite Jeremiah Smith, who's going to draw in so much attention that Carnell's going to be that guy. I did not expect to see this kind of wide receiver out there. He looks like just an absolute dominant number 1 wide receiver. And the catches we're seeing him make, the way he's just got a knack for getting himself open. He's not the fastest guy. He's just not. It's something different. It's like a different level. It's a big step forward that he's taken. And if we see this guy for the rest of the season playing like this, we're hearing rumblings now that a lot of people think he is the number 1 wide receiver in this class, could be the number 1 wide receiver drafted. And if that is the case, that means you went Marvin Harrison Jr., who was the number 1 wide receiver drafted out of college. Then you skip a year, Carnell Tate, and we know next year it'll be Jeremiah Smith. That would be 3 out of 4 years of the top receiver off the board from Ohio State. And for all of the insanity that Brian Hartline and his era has been at Ohio State when it comes to wide receivers, that stat right there would be the craziest of all. To 3 out of 4 years produce the top-rated wide receiver coming out of college. I mean, he has given us some doozies to talk about, some really incomprehensible things at wide receiver, but that one to me would be absolutely the tops. And Carnell looks like he can do it. He's getting better. And it's, you just figure guys kind of max out at some point, but he just keeps getting better. And it is, it's something to behold, man. It really is. Let's go over to the defensive side of the ball for the next guy who has taken that next step when it comes to NFL development, when it comes to rising up draft boards. It's Kaden McDonald. Big number 98. What we're watching here, I think, is the ascension of a first-round type of dude. When we look back, going back to the Penn State game last year, there's been one common denominator in every one of these big-time goal line stands we've seen, and it's Kaden McDonald. And he might be the only one, might be the only common denominator through all of those. Now, We wondered, some people, how many snaps could he play? Well, 38 snaps against Texas, 8 tackles. 8 tackles from that position is just insane. Uh, the guy is a powerhouse. He's twitched up. He's lost a little bit of weight. Seems like he's moving a little better with that little bit of weight loss. He's unblockable one-on-one. Forget about it. You can't block him one-on-one. And if you double team him, he's usually splitting that double team in enough time to make a play. And if he's not, you're not moving him off his spot, and all he's doing, you're clogging your own lane. So there's just no way to win with him. There's no way to win against him. He is the new Tyleek, a total force, and absolutely could be potentially playing himself into the first round. It's really exciting to see, again, for a guy out of Gwinnett County, Georgia, that Georgia did not want because he wasn't tall enough, which makes me love it even more. So the dude is just a total dog, and everybody loves him, which I always love that too. So Kaden McDonald, Carnell Tate. Let's go to last year, the Oregon game, version 1, the one out in Autzen. Denzel Burke having the worst game of his life. And we wondered, a lot of us, why they kept him in the game so long. Why didn't they put in Germaine Matthews? Now, Germaine Matthews felt the same way, right? Germaine Matthews at the time was not getting enough playing time. He didn't feel, and he was furious about that. Very outspoken guy. He wants to play more. And after that game, we kind of started to see a little more Germaine Matthews, and he started looking like this guy could potentially enter into 2025 as one of the best corners in the country. And it certainly seems like he is. Coming off that Texas game, defensive player of the game for the Buckeyes, got his interception, which was a really good break on the ball. He's such a smart player. He's athletic. He's an absolute dog. He'll hit you. He'll light you up. And his ball skills are tremendous. And it's been really a joy to watch him ascend into this role. Opposite IGB, these two are just tremendous. He's always had this pedigree, by the way. He was a top 50-ish overall recruit in the country and had to earn his offer at Ohio State, which for a guy who already naturally has a chip on his shoulder, made his chip even bigger. And I love that as well. So he is absolutely surging up the ranks as far as the pro prospects are concerned, and one part of the best 2 corners in the country, in my opinion. Let's get to number 4, and this guy got a special place in a lot of our hearts, Kaden Curry. When we talk about a guy who's just been a program guy and done everything asked of him, to wait his senior year, his final year, and come into the season looking like he has, it just endears you to the fan base, and the way he plays, the effort. Maybe only Caleb Downs matches his effort and his smarts on defense. I mean, he understands keys on the defensive line more than anybody else. He's never fooled. He's always in the right spot. He came in bigger and stronger, which was clearly by design, as we are now seeing him play a ton of nose guard. We're seeing him play everywhere, right? All over the line. But we remember looking back at last year, when they would do the Rushman package and they would bring him and Kenyatta in and put them against the guards. He always excelled at that. He always excelled going against those guards in the Rushman package much more than he did outside rushing the passer. He would dominate in those instances. So what do? Let's bulk him up. Let's bring him in a little more and let him shine that way. Out on an island against tackles, he's got slightly shorter arms. He doesn't have that length, and they can get in on his body. A little bit more difficult for him to be an impact player. But when they've moved him inside, it's like it almost looks unfair. He's playing great. He's become a real force on this defensive line. And I thought that at end, you would see Kenyatta Jackson and then maybe a Bo Atkinson, Kaden Curry split in snaps on the other side. That is not what's happening. Kaden Curry, obviously always been a big-time effort guy, got a ton of talent, plays like a mad dog. He's just a nonstop motor. And it's really cool to see a guy stay in year 4, just start to pop and flash like, wow, this guy is just like a heartbeat of the defense. And in number 5, I mean, come on, man, it's Arvell, right? Like, we've got one of the most dominant defensive players in college football right here. And all it took was a defensive coordinator who understood how to utilize his skills. And the truth is, all defensive coordinators say that they want to come in and adapt their scheme to fit their players' strengths. It's what they say. Not all of them do it. Matt P said it, and not only does he say it, but he understands how to do it, and he gets it done. Arvell Reese is a truly dynamic athlete with the length and the speed and the power. I think what most caught many people off guard was that power when we saw him against Texas, just jacking up 320-pound guards and tackles. Like that right there. We knew everything else, but seeing that, turning that speed into power, that's the game changer right there. He has totally changed the way offensive coordinators now have to game plan for Ohio State. And they already had to deal with Caleb Downs as a third level player that they had to change how they operated. Now they got to deal with him on the second level. So this is now become a nightmare as an offensive coordinator to game plan against Ohio State. The Buckeyes defense just playing at a totally different level. And what a story with Arvell, a guy who almost didn't end up in the class in favor of like Tackett Curtis, right? Like amazing the way this happened for a reason, obviously a Glenville guy, and playing himself around higher every day until he gets to the first. I love seeing it. So that's 5, but I got a bonus. Let's go with Luke Montgomery, the Ohio kid who last year at this time, remember, wasn't starting until Bucks got to the playoffs. And now we're looking at a guy who is playing at an all Big Ten level. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was first team all Big Ten. He doesn't just, play great now, but he plays with such attitude and intensity. 51's a dog. 51's an absolute dog. He was a beast against Texas. A couple of pancakes in there. Obviously, the double teams with Austin Searveld were beautiful. I'm sure you guys have seen that, where they're driving dudes down the field. It's been really cool to watch. Been really cool to watch him. And remember, he was going to penciled in to kind of be the starter at right guard. Didn't end up happening for him. Comes in right before the playoffs and then has a great run, comes into this year, and now he's a dominant Big Ten player. Been a cool story to watch. So Luke definitely raising his stock and has been tremendous through 2 weeks.